Hello. Okay, so today I am here to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Alabama. Um, the latest episode that just came on, I just finished watching it this morning, and oh my gosh, it is getting really good. So, this is going to be the name of the episode. I Want to Have a KeKe season 4, and I am going to be looking over because I took notes. Season 4, episode 6. Okay, so it starts off with Melody meeting up with Kimmy, and they were going to go have some Mexican food. And then also Stormy comes in as well. So they compliment each other, on their outfits and everything. And I'm just looking at what everybody has on, and I'm like, okay, y'all coordinated. Y'all coordinated this whole outfit with the whole black and everything. It almost seemed like that was a theme for some of the ladies in some of their scenes that they did throughout this episode. So they sit down, they start talking about let's see, so Kimmy, she pretty much just kind of has a little small little segment where she speaks to Melody about her and Maurice going on vacation finally, and she's just expressing like, it was really great, I had a great time, and now I'm pretty much telling him like we need to do this more. I want to go on vacations with you more. Good to hear, especially with them being, in a relationship for as long as they have been, and also, being a married couple, and how hard they work, especially Maurice, her too, being a nurse and into real estate and everything. So just making time for each other, that's very important, excuse me. I'm thinking about the whole episode, so it's like everything is like running through my mind all at the same time, especially with the ending. I'm gonna come back to that. So let's see. So Stormy comes in, and then they bring up the Christmas sleepover that Melody had. So Melody was pretty much saying, everything was all good and great. The only thing that was really kind of like was with Tiffany, Stormy, and Kimmy. With that scene, I felt like Kimmy and Tiffany, they had come to, some understanding, but here comes Stormy, but coming in on the back end of the conversation and revving it back up, trying to create herself a moment, in my opinion. And and then it almost kind of made them backtrack. You know what I'm saying? And for Tiffany, she probably was looking at her like, girl, I don't really know you like that. And that I feel like that's why Tiffany's tone switched up, because she was going on the defense, which I could totally understand, because Stormy, you pretty much came over there with a certain type of energy, and Tiffany caught that. And that's what that was about. But anyway, moving on. So let's see. Kimmy, she brings up let me see. Kimmy brings up she brings up the situation with KeKe being at Melody's um sleepover. And pretty much Kimmy at her confessional, she's saying like, okay, on Wendy, you have Melody saying that they have been friends and talking to each other over the phone for years, So she just felt like, oh, let me just invite her. But in Kimmy's confessional, she pretty much is saying like, okay, so Melody, you've been having a whole bunch of events, and I have never seen KeKe at none of those, or have been aware that she had been invited to any other events that you have done. So why all of a sudden you invite her to this? So she was questioning that, and I questioned it too. Melody, you had a little, it was a little some up under there, because you ain't feeling Miss Letitia at the moment. You ain't feeling her. I don't think they relationship will ever go back to what it was. It's just gonna be a done deal. Okay, so let's see. Let's move on. So then, after that little combo, Melody starts to discuss the whole thing with Destiny. Just explaining, how what really from her point of view, from Melanie's point of view, she's like, no, like I have been very present. I have checked on her. I've reached out to her to, let's catch up. Let's, how you doing? But from Destiny's point of view, Melody has not been there. So it's a lot of like, and somebody's, it's not the full truth from both ends, if you ask me. Just saying. So, let's see. So Kimmy then shifts the conversation, moving on into asking about, well, you know, you're saying how is this going to affect the group, because you're saying right now you're not on the best of terms with this person, this person, this person. Um, Saying that to say, I'm having a housewarming party for my son, Jalen. So she's just like, and then immediately Melody is like, okay, well, who are you inviting? So she just makes it clear, like, obviously Tiffany and, not Tiffany, but Tiffany would be invited because they're a part of the group. She said the normal people that would be invited to our events that would normally be there, she's going to invite. But obviously, Letitia, Marceau, they're going to be invited because they are family, so they're going to be there. But then she talks about Martell. So Melody's just like, okay, well, you in the beginning you were giving him praises and saying he's this and he's that, and still wanting him to come around. So why now are you saying you're asking me how do I feel, or would it, what would be the thing about if he were to be around at an event that she would be having? Um, she had to just kind of clean that up a little bit just to kind of make it different. Really, from what I'm getting, it got to a point where Martell's mess was starting to trickle down into Kimmy's situation. So now she's like, I think it's best to just kind of keep you over here. Even if Melody doesn't come to something, Kimmy pretty much made it clear that she's just not interested in inviting Martell around at the moment. That's her prerogative. So let's see. They switch over into showing where Destiny goes to Martell's house to sit down and meet with him. So with that situation, I mean, she's been very, very forthcoming. Like everybody knows her, Destiny and Martell. She said it and he said it. They have been friends for a long time. She met Melody through Martell, and they uh, created a good friendship, and just over time that friendship has just went through some things, and it's just unfortunate that she's caught in the middle between the two. But this happens all the time. This is nothing new. It's just about, I feel it's about, people just being transparent, being as upfront and as they can be, to try to be able to keep the two separate, and it's very tough to be put in that scenario where the two friends are pretty much, now that they are no longer together, it's almost like you're being told on one end, don't be friends with this person anymore because I don't want you to. But then on the other end, you're just like, well, dang, how can I just cut them off? I've been friends with them for forever. I've only known you and created a relationship within an X amount of time. And how is that fair to put that on them? That's a tough situation to be in. Destiny's just basically caught in the middle. She is. And unfortunately, the relationship with her and Melody is the one that's going down the drain. I mean, Martell, he was pretty much saying, like, at one point you were coming at me hard, even though we're friends. But Destiny was giving him everything that he needed to be had. With her being his friend, she was being very honest with him about his actions. But when it comes to Melody's case, that situation seems to be a whole nother ball game. It is terrible. But anyway, moving on. Miss Wanda goes to Tisha's house. They sit down, and catch up. Miss Wanda is pretty much letting her know she wanted to just show them, Marceau wasn't there, but she wanted to show them that she has her business license. So that's awesome. Great job, Miss Wanda. doing a little something, something. Not a little something, something, something great. She's becoming an entrepreneur, doing something for herself. Why not? If you have the resources, right? So she um, wants to just kind of go over like, okay, I have my business license now, so on the investment end, what's going on with that. And Tisha pretty much lets us know, the viewers, that at the end of the day, if she tells more so, we're doing this and I want you and this is what's gonna happen, it happens. She pretty much gets her way. And I question that little statement right there, because it has been said in past seasons that Tisha is spoiled and she's used to having things her way. And with her saying that, I was just like, uh-huh, there it is. You do. I ain't gonna say nothing else about that going on. So Tisha, she pretty much changes over the topic, and she brings up um the whole thing with Kimmy and all of that. Her and Kimmy sitting down, and Kimmy just explaining to her, she was like, the reason I made the comment that I made during the last year's reunion, it was true to the question that he asked. Would you be friends with someone that you just are constantly bickering back and forth over little things, and just constantly doing like that? She was very clear, no, I would not. And she basically, Tisha was like, you know what? I understand it from when you say it like that. I get it. And she was like, because on my part, if that was the same scenario, I wouldn't either. But because they are family, they pretty much are putting in the extra effort to salvage their relationship and not just say, girl, I ain't fooling with you. You know, that's a tough situation to be in because their husbands are brothers, right? So after that conversation, she lets Miss Wanda know about Kimmy bringing back the information about KeKe at Melody's Christmas party. And you already know, as soon as those words came out of her mouth, Miss Wanda's mind was like, phew, she about ready to go get whoever it is messing with her daughter. And that's Miss Wanda. So she just was saying that she just, like, Tisha, I mean, just because that's your family, it doesn't always mean that they're gonna look out for you or have your back. Like, she made the funniest comment, and it was something that I had never heard before. This is new to me. Let me see, I wrote it down. So she said, you don't trust people that buy shoes that don't come in a box. And Tisha was looking at her like, huh? What do you mean? What does that mean? And she pretty much just came back and said it again, but in another way. Pretty much that she was saying that her mother always told her that it's, you don't always have to, it ain't really the people who you don't know, it's the people that's around you every day and that you call your family, your friends. Those are the ones that you need to keep your eye on. And that's what I got from that little conversation with Miss Wanda. That was something funny. So for Miss Wanda, she's basically saying like she feels like that whole little thing right there is because KeKe is jealous of Letitia. She's jealous of Letitia's lifestyle, because she feels like she should have what Tisha has, and that's where the issues are coming with their relationship and all of the drama, you know. So I was sitting there like, ooh, we already know we about to get a scene with Miss Wanda rolling up on KeKe about Tisha, and we did. But before, I'll get to that in just a second, because the next scene, it didn't immediately go to that. So they move on. They go over to Tiffany's, where Tiffany is at her office, and Melody comes to Tiffany's office. So they sit down and they're just talking about everything. So she just lets her know Just talking about some things with her. Tiffany is definitely giving more information. Her and Lou, they're showing more of themselves this season. Maybe because they were new, so the first season they were just trying to kind of like find their footing. But I think this season they got it and they understand. Okay, we're gonna have to show a little bit more about ourselves and what we're going through. Nothing is perfect on our end either, so we're gonna have to open up a lot more. So she excuse me, I'm getting stuffy, sorry. So she says that her and Lou are talking about possibly having a child because she's basically going through what I like to call empty nest syndrome. Your children have gotten older to the point where they don't need you anymore, and you're pretty much just in a situation where it's just like you want your children to need you or to want you, and the kids are older enough to the point where they're just like, I don't need your help, mom, I got it. So her and Lou have discussed it, but she's saying she doesn't want to, she's not trying to push that unless they are both on the same page about it, and that's great that they're having those conversations. I didn't even know Tiffany was as young as she is. She's in her early 30s. I had no idea. Just her presence and the way she carries herself, you wouldn't think that. She actually comes off as if she's in her 40s, just the way she carries herself. But so anyway, moving on. So she's just basically saying that is another reason why it's really pushing her to find out about her biological father, because she needs to try to understand where she comes from, her medical history. There was something that she mentioned that she dealt with one of giving birth to one of her other children, um, and it was something that was she was told was oh, I am losing the word right now. Something that was, if you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna keep it going. So she just pretty much wants to make sure that anything medical wise that's in embedded in her DNA, if that's gonna be passed on to her having another child. So she just wants to get all the information that she can get. So that's really responsible of her, and I like that. Moving on. Um, so Tiffany pretty much just in talking about that Melody, she gets excited. She's like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." And she's just like saying about how the whole journey is going to be more so of you really going to have to do some research and piece the stuff together. And Melanie is just like, yeah, they used to call me detective. They called me Detective Mel. I was a detective in my past life. So pretty much that was letting us know that Melody will be joining Tiffany, um, going to Utah to explore this. Um, that'll be interesting to see. She was making the comment saying girls trip, so I'm interested to see when you say girls trip, is that just you and Melody, or are you inviting some of the other ladies along with you? That I don't think would be a good idea. I think it would take away from her purpose for going back to Utah. It, the drama would override the real reason why she's there. So hopefully it's just her and Melody. Okay. Now, going back to Miss Wanda, she shows up at KeKe's house. Um, that whole entry, I'm gonna try to stick with it because we know that clearly they are not just popping up. The other person knows that one person is coming, but they create the scene, okay? Because you can't tell me that KeKe was sitting up in that house that she's just now moving into with those boxes all in the little sitting area that she had, that she was sitting up in there at night, that whatever time it was, with her doors unlocked. Because Miss Wanda knocked a couple times and opened that door, started walking right on in. And here comes KeKe. You could tell she was, trying. She's still getting comfortable with the cameras, but I'm gonna let them make it. We gonna move on. I mean, it can be easy filming like that, especially if it's something that you're not used to, like the other ones, the other veterans, I'll call them veterans. They're used to the cameras. So I'll cut her a break. But anyway, so Miss Wanda comes right on in and she gets to it. What I caught during this scene is that just as much as Miss Wanda got some sass on her, KeKe will come right back at you with it. Right back immediately. I was seeing that. That was just like, ooh, oh my gosh. So, like I said, KeKe, she's pretty much like, oh, I'm getting unpacked. I don't have my wine glasses unpacked. But would you like some wine? This is like real hood of me. And then hood rich of me. And Miss Wanda is pretty like, you hood rich or hood bitch. And KeKe slapped right on back and said, now you the hood. You know what? I wasn't expecting that. I don't even know if Miss Wanda was if she was ready for that comeback, but she let it ride. Um, and then so pretty much Miss Wanda goes right into it about the whole situation with her at Melody's house, talking of bringing up, not even bringing it up, but commenting because she commented on Letitia. And she says, KeKe was being messy, and how can you be like that with your family? And then KeKe was like, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle black. And again, KeKe threw a little jab in there, talking about Miss Wanda and her black jacket and her black leather pants. I was like, oh my gosh. I think I would like to see what happens with KeKe, and I'll get on that towards the end. We'll get there. But what was irking me about the conversation, it was that Miss Wanda was just basically getting on to her like, girl, why would you even want to be around this mess? KeKe's using the information saying, oh, I've been friends with Melody and Miss KeKe. I mean, and Miss Wanda looking at her like, you have? Okay, sure, sure. For her to keep trying to say, well, Tisha, she was talking about me and my personal family business to other people, and and so on and so on. But it's like, okay, she did. She admitted to it. Y'all talked about it. According to the both of y'all, this was something that was discussed years years ago. It was addressed. She apologized and she took accountability for her part in that. So now you're saying, well, you did this to me, so why hold my feet to the fire for me talking to my friend about you and your personal business or making a comment about you? KeKe, you can't use that, or I feel that it's not fair to use this that old situation as a reason why you're doing what you're doing currently. And Miss Wanda asked her, well, how long ago was this that you're talking about? And she says about 4 or 5 years ago. Ma'am, 4 or 5 years ago, if y'all talked about it and y'all hash it out and y'all supposedly have moved on and you've let it go, why are you continuing to bring that back up? And why are you using that as an excuse now? So Ms. Wanda definitely called her out on that. And it was just like, do you hear what you're saying? That don't even, as it's coming out of your mouth, you should feel foolish for even using that as an excuse. Like, girl, let it go, move on. You were caught. You knew you were on camera. So I don't even know. I mean, regardless of whether Kimmy went back and told her, eventually she would have seen it on the camera. I mean, come on. But that's supposed to be your family. If you were there and y'all were filming, whether you were filming or not filming, and Melanie brought up her name and you know that there's a little in between them two, ma'am, you could have easily told her, hey, we gonna have to, we not talking about my cousin right here in front of me like that. You want to do that? I'm finna go and get my things and I'm finna exit stage left. If I'm gonna be around, if we're gonna be cool, you cannot put me in situations like that, regardless of how you feel about her. And that's just real. Anyway, um, So let's see. What they did reveal during that conversation, because it comes up about the comparing Letitia and KeKe against each other. So KeKe, from Miss Wanda's point of view, she feels that KeKe is jealous of Letitia, of her lifestyle, of the things that she has, her marriage, businesses, all of the and above, um, and her access. So KeKe is very bothered by that because she feels that it's not really KeKe and Letitia who are doing their relationship like that. It is the parents of the two. It's the family that are putting them against each other. So we find out that at some point in time in their early childhood, KeKe and her family, they did not fool with Miss Wanda and her crew, her family, because socially or financially they were on two different levels. So they were just like basically looking down on them because of where they lived and where they came from, where they were coming from, their financial situation at the time. And now it's pretty much Letitia is, you know, made, she's a businesswoman, entrepreneur, and her husband are doing great. And so the way KeKe worded it was almost as if the parents, they go back and forth with it. Well, my daughter does this, my daughter has this, and it does affect the relationship between KeKe and Letitia. She's saying, in for real, she would love to have a better relationship with her cousin, but the family makes it hard for them to have that because they put them against each other, and that is terrible. It really is. But fact of the matter is, this probably happens in most families more than we all know. Um, I like that she shared that information, and I would like to see what comes from her bringing that out. Will they get on a better page? Will the family, not just Letitia and KeKe, will the family do better? I would love to see it because they're adults now, but they were children, and they're saying these are the things that y'all were doing, and it affected the relationship with my cousin. I would love to see what happens with that. So let's see. They move on, going back to Tiffany, and Lulu shows up to a Airbnb, to realize that Tiffany has just created this whole date night scene that was really cool, really cute. Um, Lou at this point, he's like, okay, she literally surprised me with a whole wedding. So I mean, I wouldn't put anything past her. um, I think that was pretty. That was really cute. They sit down. They start talking. Just having dinner conversation, and she goes in with the trip to find her biological father, and lets him know that she wants to. Melanie wants to go, and then she wants to make it a girls' trip, which is pretty much telling him like, I changed my mind. You ain't coming. And on his face, it was just like that was something that he didn't know prior to coming and sitting down. Um, you could tell that he was a little disappointed. Um, and she acknowledged it. But I think she was being a little too tough on him. It's like, dang girl, you don't know from his point of view how he felt, or maybe he really, really wanted to go and be there with you to go through the process. And lo and behold, that's exactly what he said. You know, he's felt like he was being robbed of that experience, but in the end of the day, it's about her, and he's, willing to take a back seat and let her go, work through it in the way that she wants to, however she wants to do it. But just to know that he's there for anything that she needs. So that was cool. And then she moves on to the topic of them having a baby, and he pretty much looking at her like, "Girl, um, how is that gonna fit in the schedule? I mean, be real. You're busy. I'm busy. how does the baby fit in that equation? So we'll see. They do give us a little preview of the season, and it looks like it's about to get even better than what it has been already. We see that there's gonna be some scenes that's gonna come up. Looks like it was like a little Valentine's setting, but I don't know. We don't know what was the whole setup for that, but um, looks like Letitia and Melody, they gonna come to it, not physically, but they gonna get the going back and forth, and I would love to see what's gonna come of that. They flashed to a scene where Miss Wanda is bringing some information to Tisha about Marceau with a woman at a motel. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. We're gonna see what happens with that. Um, and also, let's see, Lou, he's being a little bit more forthcoming with information about him and Tiffany's marriage. So they are, like I said, they're really coming with it this season, showing more of themselves. So that's great. Martell, they're showing him addressing Kimmy about not inviting him to something, probably Jalen's housewarming, or just not wanting to invite him to anything she does. Period. They show that. They even show us a preview of the Scott's family and even some of Tisha's family sitting down and having a talk, or it might have been more so Tisha's side of the family and he was just there. I think that was that's what it was. And it looked like it was about to be some mess going on. It looked like KeKe was about to let it rip. Okay. And Marceau was looking at her like, you better not say whatever it is you think you finna say on this camera. Okay? Because you know they gonna air it. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. I don't know if they're gonna play it next week. I was so into the preview of the season that I didn't even look to see when was the next episode coming out. So we'll see. But thank you guys for watching. Any good feedback, I would love to hear. Please like and subscribe to my video, and I will keep it coming. I'll try to pretty much. I'm just gonna be reviewing shows that I enjoy watching, and I'll try to post as often as I can and keep up with the season. So, yay! Thank you for watching and have a good day. Bye.